Today I'll be showing you how to perform a distribution upgrade. I'm here on Ubuntu 20.04 and I'm trying to upgrade it to 22.04. Lots of people ask, do I really have to reinstall my whole system in order to upgrade to the latest and greatest release? Well, you don't have to, and I'm going to show you how to make a distribution upgrade through the terminal, so it can also be applied to something like a server or production environment if you're using Ubuntu as well. Let's start by opening up a terminal. Now, before getting into things, we want to make sure that we perform a backup before we make any kind of major upgrades, like a distribution release upgrade. Basically, just make sure that you have your config files and data backed up just in case something does go wrong during this upgrade process. You wouldn't want to lose anything in the upgrade, so it's always great to at least have some form of backup of data. Next, we want to start by updating our current release. This will make sure that we have the latest and greatest repositories as well as the latest and greatest packages. That way we don't have to move up quite as much between distribution upgrades. So in order to do that, we want to first update our repositories by doing sudo apt update and pressing enter. We'll be asked for our administrative user's password. We'll have to use administrative user to update things here in the terminal. So I went and specified the password, and now all my mirrors got updated. And down below here, it says 345 packages can be upgraded. Let's now do sudo apt upgrade to actually upgrade those packages. And what you'll be warned about is it'll tell you it's going to take some additional space on your disk. Mine's 708 megabytes, and it's going to break things down for you as well as all the various different packages that will be updated during this process. So just to spell this out, this is currently only updating what's on the current release. So since I'm currently on 20.04 long-term support, it's going to update any packages that are part of this release. When you're ready to continue, you can either press enter or type in Y and press enter and let things slowly upgrade. Now this might take a few minutes depending on the speed of your computer as well as the connection. It can go anywhere between 2 minutes to 10 minutes. Eventually you'll start getting a progress bar. After everything has been downloaded to computer, now it's actually processing those packages and actually updating them. Of course, it may take a while for this to progress as well. Sit back and relax as things are updating. During the update process, you may get dialogues, which will require you to answer questions or accept changes. So for example here, I have to update my grub bootloader and specify where it's located on my disk. If you have multiple bootloaders, it's going to ask you which disk you're currently trying to update. I only have the one on mine, so I can just press enter and that can continue my update and upgrade process on my current distribution. If you do get asked something like this on the desktop version, I wouldn't bother doing this because we're going through the terminal and we still have things running in the background. So make sure to, ask me later or just don't upgrade at all as we're performing it all through the terminal anyway. Sometimes those pop-ups happen as the system's recognizing you're making updates, so it's trying to suggest, hey, there are even more updates, such as a release upgrade. All right, fantastic. The next command I can show you is sudo apt dist-upgrade. It's actually similar to what you just got done doing. So if you do sudo apt upgrade, it's equivalent because it gives you the same information here. Basically, just another command to do the same thing. That way you don't get confused with people telling you, oh, do dist upgrade versus upgrade. No big deal. Both work. So things have successfully upgraded or updated here. As far as the packages go, let's actually check out what my current release is. So currently I have Ubuntu 20.04.6, the long-term support edition, codename Focal. Fantastic. I know that there's a new version available, aka a new release, which is 22.04. Basically, this says that this is from April of 2020, and there's a new one. And the latest long-term support is actually available here in April of 2022. So that's our next step here. Before I do this, I want to do a little bit of cleanup. I can do this by doing sudo apt auto remove, all one word. Basically, it performs a cleanup process on things that aren't needed by the system. It says 14 to remove, 0 not upgraded, meaning nothing has failed to upgrade, and it's going to give me back 511 megabytes of disk space, which is great. Any disk space saved is good disk space. So I'm going to press enter and allow this process to happen. It shouldn't take a super long amount of time. There usually isn't too much to remove, and removing is usually easier than upgrading or updating. All right, now we are ready to do the actual release upgrade. So I'm going from 20.04 to 22.04. And at this point, if you've made it this far, smash that like button for me. Subscribe below. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and I hope you're enjoying the Linux content. Might as well sign up for more. The next command we want to issue would be sudo do-release-upgrade. Then press enter. It says you have not rebooted after updating a package which requires a reboot. Please reboot before upgrading. So I had many updates that were performed. I was really backed up with my updates. Therefore, some packages are requiring a reboot, is what it's telling me. So I must perform that reboot before I can actually do the Ubuntu release upgrade. Depending on where you're at in this stage, you may or may not require the reboot. I'm going to listen to the system and do it. So I'm going to do sudo reboot and give it a few moments to reboot the system. All right, I'm back with the rebooted system. I'm going back to activities and launching a terminal. With the terminal launch, I'm going to retry that command. So sudo space do-release-upgrade. Okay, by pressing enter, I'm going to be asked for administrative password. Of course, we're changing a lot, so we need administrative privileges to do so. Type in the password and press enter. Now it says checking for a new Ubuntu release. Oh, it looks like it found something called Jammy. Fantastic. And now we're slowly beginning the process of updating everything required to make a release upgrade. Now, this one is going to take quite a bit longer. You got to pull a lot of packages down and install them, as well as remove old packages that have been deprecated, ask questions about the system and how you want to perform the upgrade. We're going to be going through these things together. See, as we get our very first question here, it says that fetching and installing the upgrade can take several hours. Once the download has finished, the process cannot be canceled. So it's just warning you, are you really sure you want to make this upgrade and that it can take a lot of time? It also tells you how much is going to be downloaded. Notice here, there's around 1.5 gigs for me, and it tells you about how much time it takes on a very good internet connection. Anyways, if you're all okay with that, you're going to type in a lowercase y and press enter. The default is actually no, so don't just press enter. Type in y and then press enter if you're ready to go. Again, there are going to be things to review and accept through dialogues and questions to answer. So don't just go away from your computer and let it do its thing. Come back and periodically check on the upgrade release process every once in a while, so you make sure that it is progressing with the upgrade and not just sitting waiting for you to answer a question. So now we're kind of in the wait and monitor period. I'm going to wait until we get our next question asked and continue upgrading the system. Some progress has been made here. As you can tell, it says progress and then a certain percentage. This is where it's upgrading and setting up, installing new libraries, and of course restarting and upgrading services. Things seem to be going fine so far. All right, and about 5 minutes in, I'm getting my first dialogue that's just warning me and letting me know that Firefox has been upgraded to a snap between these two versions, and it's recommended to close Firefox if you were using it for some reason during the upgrade. I'm going to hit OK to continue. At some point during the release upgrade, your resolution might change because configurations are getting defaulted. Just know if the screen resolution changes sizes, you can actually set it right back by right-clicking on the desktop environment, going to display settings, and setting the proper resolution back. That way it doesn't catch you off guard. It may be a part of the normal release upgrade process. And now I'm getting close towards the end. Some of the boot images are being rebuilt and some of the core components are being refreshed. We're now searching for obsolete software, and then we're asked whether or not we want to remove that obsolete software, aka packages. There's 134 packages that are going to be removed, and it says removing the packages can take several hours. You can technically just not remove the packages. This means that they're going to stay a part of your system, but that's a little bit bloat as the packages aren't really supported anymore. Therefore, they're really not needed on the system. So I want to actually continue. The default's no. So I'm going to put in Y and press enter. Up until now, the process has taken about 12 minutes. This will add a little bit of extra time, but it does make for a cleaner system with less bloat and more space. So anyways, pressing Y and continuing, I'm going to let it remove anything that it thinks is obsoleted. All right, and that portion only took about an extra minute, not a few hours like said. So overall, this took me about 13 or so minutes to perform the full release upgrade. And finally, we are ready to finish the upgrade by restarting. Now you'll be forced to do this because in order to update the kernel image, as well as some of the core components of Ubuntu here, we are forced to do that restart. So the default option is actually no, which if you hit no, you can restart the system at a later time and then properly get the updated release, or just do it now by hitting yes. All right, with things rebooted, now it's time to check things on the system by launching another terminal and rerunning a few commands that we already have, including lsb_release with the -a flag. Congratulations, you've updated your release. Notice I'm now on the latest 22.04 long-term support, codename Jammy. Fantastic work if you've made it this far, but don't leave quite yet. We want to rerun a few more things just to make sure we are up to date with the latest and greatest here on Ubuntu 22.04 with our latest release. Again, this will work across the board with the server edition or the desktop edition. Therefore, you can upgrade your production environments. Know that it's going to take a little extra work to upgrade your production environments. Make absolute sure that you have all your data backed up in that type of a place. And I would tell you do one step further and do it in a staged area before actually upgrading the real production area. If you have virtual machines, clone it first, try it out on the clone, and then you can know what is actually going to happen to the system that's under production. Anyways, here, I want to make sure I have the latest and greatest. So I'm going to do sudo apt update, type in my password to update my repos, because the repos do change a little bit between releases. We should have the most up-to-date stuff, but just to check, we're going to do sudo apt upgrade again and let it upgrade any more packages that it needs. Doesn't look like there's anything to update, but we can do sudo apt auto remove to clean things up. It says that there's barely any space to be freed, but I'm going to take it anyway and press enter. Depending on how your release upgrade went, there could be some things to be removed here and or updated, but fantastic work following through and making your release upgrade. You've successfully done it at this point. Let me know if you've successfully managed to make your own upgrade in the comment section below. Catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching. Linux can be hard to understand, but I take the most commonly used terms, commands, and subjects in Linux and I break them down into simple to read documents, including Linux terms, flashcards, a checklist, a cheat sheet, and a mind map. And if you're ready to level up your Linux experience and knowledge, go to learn.savvynik.com now and get access to these sheets.